What if the greatest power you possess isn't in what you say, but in what you strategically choose to keep silent?
Friends, colleagues, fellow seekers of wisdom, look around you.
In a world clamoring for constant sharing, for every thought to be broadcast, every plan revealed, there's a profound truth we often overlook. Your most precious asset is your privacy. There's a reason the Bible instructs us to guard our hearts, for from them spring the very matters of life itself.
What we allow into our hearts and what we release through our words our words undeniably shapes our destiny. Many navigate life oblivious to the silent harm inflicted simply because they haven't mastered the art of selective sharing. They speak prematurely, disclose too much, and trust too easily, only to find their most treasured dreams cast aside by those who never truly had their best interests at heart.
Your heart is the sacred core of your being. It's where your thoughts, emotions, and deepest desires reside. It influences every choice, every relationship, and every step of your journey. Yet, if left unguarded, it can become a breeding ground for bitterness, doubt, and destruction. The adversary knows this. If they can infiltrate your heart, they can dictate your life. That's why they often work through others, sometimes even those closest to you, planting seeds of fear, discouragement, and confusion. One potent weapon in their arsenal is making you careless with your words. The more you speak, the more exposed you become. Not everyone around you deserves access to the intimate workings of your heart. Some individuals appear to be friends, but in truth, they are mere spies in your life, patiently waiting for the opportune moment to weaponize your words against you. They feign interest in your struggles, your ambitions, and your challenges, but their true intent is to gather intelligence. They seek to understand what drives you, where your vulnerabilities lie. And if you reveal too much, they will inevitably turn it to their advantage. Even Jesus, the ultimate example of wisdom, understood this principle. He spoke to the crowds in parables, sharing deeper truths only with those truly ready to receive them. He didn't disclose everything to everyone. He didn't announce his every next step. He didn't feel compelled to defend himself when falsely accused, because he knew that not all hearts were pure, and not every listener was sincere. Some of the most devastating downfalls in life occur not because the enemy was overwhelmingly powerful, but because people spoke too soon. They revealed their plans to those who secretly envied them. They confided in those who only pretended to care. They exposed their weaknesses to individuals who had no intention of helping them. And before they knew it, they were left wounded, betrayed, and disheartened. This isn't about living in fear. It's about living with profound wisdom. There are certain things meant to be kept strictly between you and God alone. Your aspirations, your battles, your triumphs. Some of these should be lifted in prayer rather than spoken aloud. There are seasons in life when silence becomes your most impenetrable shield. Remember Joseph, when he shared his dreams with his brothers, their hatred for him only deepened. His own words fueled their envy. His excitement turned them against him. Had he chosen to remain silent, perhaps his journey would have unfolded different. Silence holds immense, often underestimated, power. The world relentlessly encourages us to be vocal, to declare every step, to validate ourselves through constant chatter. But true wisdom teaches the opposite. Your life should speak for itself. Your actions must carry far more significance than your speech, and your heart must be guarded above all else. Reflect on the moments when you spoke too soon and later wished you hadn't. Recall the times you placed your trust in the wrong person and experienced the searing pain of betrayal.
These moments weren't meant to make you bitter. They were designed to make you profoundly wiser. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not every ear is meant to hear your plans. Not every mouth is worthy of carrying your words. A wise person understands precisely when to speak. And when to remain powerfully silent. They know that some matters are to be brought before God in prayer, rather than broadcast to the world.
They recognize that not every battle is fought with words,
And not every truth is meant for public consumption. Words possess tremendous power.
They can uplift or destroy, open doors or close them, bring peace or sow division. Yet, many speak recklessly, believing their words carry no weight. They share their innermost thoughts, emotions, and aspirations with anyone who will listen, oblivious that the very words they utter may later be used against them. In life, not everyone who listens to you does so with pure intentions. Some aren't listening to understand, but to collect information. They wait for you to expose your weaknesses, your hardships, and your dreams so they can manipulate them for their own gain. A conversation that once felt harmless can later be twisted, exaggerated, or shared with someone else, altering its meaning entirely.
Suddenly, what you confided in private becomes the very thing that causes turmoil in your life. This is why the Bible warns us about the power of the tongue. Though small, it holds the power to ignite an entire life in flames.
When left unchecked, it can bring utter devastation.
Countless individuals have lost friendships, opportunities, and even their peace of mind simply because they spoke too soon or placed their trust in the wrong person. They confided in someone who seemed to care, only to later discover their words had been spread like wildfire.
There are individuals who will smile at you and pretend to be your ally,
but beneath the surface, they are only seeking something to use against you.
They may ask seemingly harmless questions, acting genuinely interested in your life, but their intentions are far from sincere. They want to know your hardships so they can criticize you. They want to hear about your ambitions so they can discourage you. They seek to learn your plans so they can undermine them. Even in the Bible, we witness how words were wielded as weapons.
The Pharisees repeatedly tried to trap Jesus using his own words.
They questioned him, not seeking wisdom, but seeking grounds to accuse him.
Their goal was to twist his statements, hoping to catch him in something they could use against him.
Yet, Jesus responded with profound wisdom.
He didn't give them what they saw.
He didn't speak merely to justify himself.
He remained silent when necessary, and when he did speak, his words carried undeniable discernment. Too many people assume that just because someone listens, it means they care.
But some only listen to collect details. Some listen so they can retell your words to others,
adding their own distorted version to the story. And before you realize it, your own words have been turned into a weapon against you.
Be mindful of who you trust with your words. Be cautious about who you reveal your plans to. Not everyone needs to know what is on your mind.
Not everyone is worthy of access to your thoughts and emotions. The more you talk, the more you provide others with a chance to use your words against you.
People have lost careers, friendships, and even their good names because they spoke too openly in the wrong company. They vented their frustrations to someone they believed was trustworthy, only to later find out their words had been passed along to the very person they spoke about. They shared their dreams with someone they assumed would support them, only to realize later that person had secretly worked against them. Even when your intentions are pure, your words can still be misinterpreted and taken out of context. A simple remark can be blown out of proportion. A light-hearted joke can be twisted into an offense. A private discussion can unexpectedly become public knowledge. And once words leave your lips, you no longer have control over how they will be interpreted or used. Yet, Jesus, the Son of God, did not disclose everything to everyone. He walked among men with divine insight, wisdom beyond human comprehension, and the ability to perceive the hearts of people. He possessed knowledge no one else had, yet he also understood that not everyone was prepared for the truth, nor was everyone willing to accept it. There were moments when he chose to speak, and moments when he remained silent. Sometimes he answered questions plainly, while other times he spoke in parables, hiding truth from those who were not ready to receive it. The Bible reveals that Jesus often withheld information because he discerned the motives of those around him. The Pharisees and religious leaders would approach him, pretending to seek wisdom, but their hearts were filled with deceit. They weren't interested in learning. They were searching for a way to trap him.
They wanted to catch him saying something they could twist and use against him.
Yet, Jesus never spoke recklessly.
When they attempted to corner him with questions about the law, about Caesar, about his identity, he responded with wisdom, never giving them anything they could use against him. He didn't feel obligated to prove himself to those who had already hardened their hearts against him. Even his own disciples weren't always given full understanding.
There were truths he could have explained in detail, yet he told them, "I have much to say to you, but you cannot bear it now."
He understood that revelation comes at the right time.
There was an appointed season for truth to be grasped. Not everything needed to be revealed immediately. Some things had to remain hidden until people's hearts were prepared to receive them.
When he performed miracles, there were times he instructed people not to speak of what had taken place.
After healing the sick, after casting out demons, after displaying his power, he sometimes told them, "Tell no one."
Why? Because he recognized that premature exposure could create unnecessary obstacles.
He understood timing. He knew that if word spread too quickly, opposition would arise before his mission was fulfilled. He knew that the crowds, misunderstanding his purpose, would attempt to make him king by force. He was fully aware of human nature, how easily people misunderstand, how quickly they turn, how some seek miracles but reject truth. At his trial, standing before the high priest, before Pilate, before those who had already determined his fate, he chose silence. He didn't defend himself. He didn't argue. He didn't explain, because he knew that no amount of words would change the hearts of those who had already decided against him. He knew when to speak. He knew when to remain silent. Jesus exemplified wisdom. He demonstrated that not everything needs to be spoken. Not every question requires an answer, and not every truth should be disclosed to everyone. Some ask not out of a desire for understanding, but to find flaws. Some listen not to learn, but to condemn. And some simply are not ready for the truth because their hearts remain hardened.
Even after his resurrection, he didn't reveal himself to everyone immediately.
He first appeared to those who had faith, to those who truly believed in him. The world did not instantly witness the fullness of his glory. There was a divine process, a strategic plan, an appointed order in how and when things were unveiled. Jesus never spoke just to win an argument. He never shared information recklessly. He moved with discernment, understanding that truth is valuable, should only be entrusted to those ready to receive it. Not everyone who smiles at you has pure intentions. Not everyone who applauds your success is genuinely happy for you. Some people pretend to be on your side while secretly hoping for your failure. They observe your progress not with admiration, but with envy. They listen to your words not to gain insight, but to find something they can twist against you.
They walk alongside you not to support you, but to wait for an opportunity to betray you.
This world is full of people who disguise themselves as friends, family, or allies, yet their hearts are filled with jealousy and deceit.
Even in the Bible, we see that those closest to a person can sometimes be the very ones who work against them.
Joseph, chosen by God, had a dream, a vision of greatness, but instead of rejoicing with him, his own brothers despised him. They didn't view his dream as an inspiration. They saw it as a threat. Their envy consumed them so much that they threw him into a pit and sold him into slavery. He had done nothing to harm them, yet they could not bear to see him rise. There are people in life who cannot accept your growth.
As long as you remain beneath them, as long as you struggle, as long as you stay within the limits they are comfortable with, they will treat you well.
But the moment you begin to rise, the moment you start walking in your purpose, the moment you separate yourself from the familiar, their true feelings emerge. Suddenly, those who once called you a friend grow distant. Those who once supported you begin to criticize. Those who once walked with you now scheme against you.
Even Jesus was betrayed by someone within his closest circle.
Judas walked alongside him, witnessed his miracles, and listened to his teachings. Yet for 30 pieces of silver, he betrayed him into the hands of his enemies. It was not a stranger who turned against Jesus. It was someone who had shared meals with him. Someone he had trusted. Someone who had called him master. And that is the painful truth about life. Betrayal rarely comes from an outsider. It comes from those who have been close enough to know your vulnerabilities, close enough to understand your struggles, close enough to be aware of what is most valuable. Some people are in your life not because they care for you, but because they want to monitor you. They want to observe your progress, measure how far you are going, and see whether you will surpass them.
They pretend to be on your side, yet their hearts harbor resentment. They don't truly celebrate your success. They merely tolerate it.
They don't rejoice in your blessings. They question why you have them. They don't pray for your advancement. They secretly hope you stumble. This is why discernment is crucial.
Not everyone deserves a place in your life.
Not everyone should have insight into your plans. Some people only present to collect information, to discourage you, to hold you back. And if you're not careful, you may end up sharing your heart with those who intend to break. You may confide in people who will later use your words against you.
You may seek encouragement from those who quietly hope you never rise. The reality is, when God begins to elevate you, when He starts moving you to greater heights, some people will naturally drift away.
Some relationships will come to an end.
Some individuals will turn against you. And it will not always be because of something you did wrong. It will be because your growth exposes their insecurities. Your progress magnifies their doubts. Your blessings shine a light on their lack of faith. And instead of seeing your success as evidence of what God is capable of, they see it as a reflection of what they have not yet attained.
Instead of celebrating with you, they envy you. Instead of supporting you, they resist you. This is why wisdom is essential. Not everyone who begins the journey with you is meant to reach the destination. Some people will be removed from your life because they were never truly for you. Some relationships will dissolve because God is shielding you from unseen dangers.
Some connections will be severed because their purpose in your life has been fulfilled. And though it may be painful, It is necessary, because when you step into your purpose, when you follow the path that God has laid before you, those who were never genuinely for you will inevitably reveal themselves. There is undeniable power in mystery. When someone refrains from revealing everything about themselves, when they do not constantly explain, justify, or disclose their thoughts and intentions, they naturally command a greater level of respect.
Society has led many to believe that in order to be liked, in order to be accepted, they must always share, always express, always be transparent. But in reality, the more people know about you, the less they value you. The more familiar they become with your thoughts, struggles, and routines, the more they begin to take you for granted. Observe those who are highly esteemed in any field. Leaders, visionaries, individuals of great wisdom. They do not speak just for the sake of being heard. They do not feel obligated to explain themselves to everyone. They do not reveal every detail of their plans. Instead, they understand the strength of self-restraint. They recognize that when a person holds back, when they do not always expose their thoughts, people start to take notice, to observe more carefully, to regard them with greater seriousness. Even Jesus carried himself with a sense of mystery. He often spoke in parables, choosing not to reveal the fullness of truth to just anyone. At times, he withdrew from the crowd, seeking solitude rather than constant engagement. He did not disclose everything, even to his closest disciples, because he knew that certain truths are meant to be revealed at the appointed time. When Pilate questioned him, searching for a justification for his actions, Jesus remained silent. He did not argue. He did not plead for understanding, because he knew that human approval did not define him. People often lose respect, not because of what they do, but because they speak too freely. They share their thoughts too easily. They expose their vulnerabilities too soon. And the more accessible they become, the less they are regarded with honor. Mystery creates space, and space fosters respect. When people do not have full access to your thoughts, they perceive you differently. They cannot anticipate your next move. They cannot confine you to their own assumptions. Instead, they must wait. They must watch. They must listen attentively, because they recognize that when you do speak, your words hold meaning. There is a reason why those who speak excessively are often not taken seriously. Their words lose value. They give away too much of themselves, and soon others begin to see them as ordinary. But when a person learns to govern their speech, when they understand that not every thought needs to be expressed, they become someone people respect. When they do speak, their words carry weight, for they do not speak without purpose. Consider the people in your life whom you respect the most. Chances are, they are not the ones who openly share every detail with everyone. They are the ones who maintain a sense of privacy, who exercise control over their words. They do not feel compelled to broadcast their thoughts, their plans, or their next steps. And because of this, others observe them more closely. They are regarded with greater respect. Many fall into the trap of believing that to be truly loved, they must be fully known. But there is a distinction between being known and being understood. When you maintain a level of mystery, when you do not disclose every detail of your life, people are drawn to understand you more. They value your presence. They listen more attentively. The more accessible you make yourself, the less others appreciate your worth. The more you reveal, the less they feel the need to see. Mystery commands attention. It creates an aura where people hold your words, your actions, and your presence in higher esteem. This is not about being secretive out of pride, but about recognizing that when something is rare, when it is not easily accessible, it carries greater significance. Life is unpredictable, filled with trials, disappointments, and hardships that can shake even the strongest soul.
In a world where people change, where relationships can let you down, where promises can be broken, there is only one true refuge: God. He alone never fails,
Never abandons, never wavers.
when everything else shifts, when people turn their backs, when troubles surround you, He remains constant. He is your safe haven, your shelter, your unshakable foundation.
People seek security in many things. Some turn to wealth, believing financial success will keep them secure. Others look for comfort in relationships, thinking the presence of another person will bring them peace. Some chase after achievements, hoping that success will give them a sense of value and stability. But none of these things can truly protect the soul.
Money can vanish, people can leave, success can fade, but God remains. He is the rock that cannot be moved,
The refuge that cannot be shaken. When life's storms arise, when the burdens of the world feel too heavy to bear,
there is only one place to run: to the arms of God. He does not turn away those who seek Him. He does not reject the brokenhearted. He welcomes those who cry out to Him, those in need of His strength, those who long for a peace that the world cannot provide. He is the strong tower, the place of refuge for all who put their trust in Him.
there will be times when loneliness sets in, when the people you once depended on are no longer by your side.
There will be moments when betrayal cuts deep, when those you trusted most turn away from you.
It is in these very moments that you will witness the unwavering faithfulness of God.
He never abandons His children. He does not fail those who place their trust in Him.
Even when everyone else walks away, He remains.
Even when the world turns against you, He calls you His own.
Scripture tells us that God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. He does not merely offer protection, He is protection. He does not just bring peace, He is peace.
He does not simply provide comfort. He is the source of all comfort. When the enemy closes in, when fear threatens to consume you, when the burdens of life feel too heavy to bear, you can run to Him.
In His presence, there is security.
In His presence, there is restoration. In His presence, there is a peace that surpasses all understanding. Many attempt to face life's battles alone.
They fight in their own strength. They carry burdens they were never meant to bear. But God never intended for His children to walk this journey on their own. Oh, He calls His people to take refuge in Him, to lean on Him, to trust that He will fight the battles they cannot win by themselves. He is the shield that defends, the stronghold that withstands every attack, the covering that keeps His children safe.
The world is unpredictable. One moment everything seems steady, and the next, everything shifts.
But no matter what changes, God remains constant. He is not moved by circumstance. He is not shaken by the storms of life.
He holds all things in His hands, and when you place your trust in Him, you are secure.
There is no safer place than in the presence of God.
No person, no possession, no achievement can offer the security that He provides. When fear arises, when doubts creep in, when the uncertainties of life overwhelm you, He is the anchor that holds firm. He is the place where your soul finds rest. He knows every burden, every wound, every struggle. Yet He still invites you to come to Him, to lay it all down and find refuge in His love.
There is power in silence, strength in self-control, and wisdom in living a life that speaks louder than words ever could. The world is full of people who talk endlessly, who feel the need to explain themselves, who try to validate their worth through words. But words alone do not define a person. It is their actions that truly speak. Integrity and the way a person carries themselves will always speak louder than mere words.
Someone who is truly wise does not need to declare their wisdom.
A person who is genuinely strong does not have to boast about their power. One who walks in true purpose does not need to convince others of their calling.
A life lived with discipline, focus, and humility speaks for itself. There is no need for lengthy explanations, no need for constant self-promotion, no need to argue with those who fail to understand. The proof is found in how one lives, how one treats others, and how one remains unwavering, regardless of outside opinions.
Jesus exemplified this way of living. He didn't go around trying to prove his identity. He didn't waste time justifying himself to doubters.
When the Pharisees questioned him, demanded signs, or falsely accused him, he didn't engage in endless debates.
His actions, his obedience to the Father, and the way he lived his life spoke on his behalf. He healed the sick, cast out demons, and raised the dead, not as a way to validate himself, but simply because that was who he was. His works revealed his identity far more than words ever could. Too often, people exhaust themselves trying to explain, trying to prove something to those who will never believe in them. But true greatness is not found in winning arguments. It is found in unwavering consistency, in following the path set by God, without seeking validation from the world.
When someone stays faithful, when they do what is right, even when no one is watching, when they refuse to be swayed by the opinions of others, their life begins to speak louder than any argument ever could.
There is a reason why those who talk the most are often not taken seriously. Their words lose impact because they are not supported by action. But when a person moves in silence, allowing their results to speak, when their integrity serves as proof of who they are, people begin to take notice. There is a certain respect that follows those who do not feel the need to prove anything. There is strength in quiet confidence, in understanding that time will eventually reveal the truth. Even when people try to misrepresent you, when they spread falsehoods, when they doubt your abilities, the life lived in truth will always rise above the noise.
The truth can only remain hidden for so long.
Our true nature is always revealed in their actions, in how they handle adversity, in how they endure trials without losing sight of their purpose. Some attempt to argue their way into respect, but real honor is built through consistency. The one who stays disciplined, who walks in integrity, who refuses to let emotions dictate their actions, will always be recognized in the end. The loudest voices are often the most fragile, but those who remain steadfast, who continue moving forward without seeking approval, are the ones who make a lasting difference.
Life is not about proving yourself to others. It is about fulfilling the purpose God has placed before you.
It is about walking your path with focus, without fear, and without the need to be understood by everyone. The right people will notice. The right people will recognize.
Those who are meant to witness the truth will see it in due time.
And those who refuse to acknowledge it, those who choose to doubt, those who deliberately misunderstand, no amount of explanation will ever change their hearts. But a life of integrity, a life grounded in truth, a life that remains unwavering despite opposition. That is the kind of life that speaks louder than words in the end. And then, wisdom teaches that not everything should be revealed. Not everyone is worthy of trust. And not every conflict is worth engaging in through words. There is power in silence, in discernment, in letting your actions speak when explanations fall short. Those who understand the significance of mystery, the necessity of guarding their hearts, and the strength found in quiet consistency will always walk with greater dignity and security. True refuge is found in God, not in the approval of others. Not everyone will rejoice in your success. Not everyone wants the best for you, and some will take your words and use them against you. When you trust God as your shelter, when you walk in wisdom and allow your actions to reveal the truth, no opposition, no betrayal, and no misunderstanding can prevent the purpose He has set for your life. Time uncovers all things, and in the end, it is not words that define a person, but the life they choose to live. So, I challenge you today. What will your silent strength build? What profound actions will you take that speak volumes without a single word? Choose today to guard your heart, protect your peace, and let your life become a powerful, living testament. Rise up, step forward, and let your journey be your loudest declaration. If you like this video from Wow Victory Motivation, please comment number 1 to support us.